And we're back for another video. Getting back on the Trans Am. Left off showing you guys, got that rear end all resealed. New axle seals, new diff cover seal, and we're going to have fresh fluid going back in it. Just got to stop and get some of that. But we are ready to kind of jump back on the brakes until I go get fluid to fill the rear end up, which that's not a big deal as of right now. I kind of want to move forward on these brakes. So in the last video, we did at least get the rears all pulled off, and I got the new rotors slid back on. So I think we're going to focus on getting the calipers and pads all mounted, get those on, and then I'll probably jump to, I would say probably cleaning out the lines. I was going to say parking brake cables, but parking brake's not top of the list right now. I think I may try to just get all the brakes squared away first, then go back and tackle the parking brake assembly itself. So let's get these calipers on, because I got these stupid, this is that early, not early, but that stupid era where they do the stupid round spring clips that clip around the piston and hold the pad in, and they're dumb. Not a fan of them, but what do you do? It is what it is. So let's get this stuff thrown together, get it back on, so we can move to the front end of the car. Okay, whole new day. Actually, I think it's a whole new week. I had some problems with the rear brakes, which is why it's been like a week since I've been able to film. I could have moved forward on some other stuff, but I want to stay on task on being able to get things done in a proper order. Keeps me sane. I didn't film getting any of the new calipers on, so I did the passenger side first, and it went together nice. And then I went to do the driver's side, and I slipped the pads in, put the pad clip on, because these are the style that use that, 3/4 circle clip that goes around the piston, holds the pad on, and I couldn't slip it over the rotor. And I kind of tried bumping it on, wouldn't go. So I got a piston compressor, wouldn't compress, C-clamp, wouldn't compress. So brought it over to the vise, set it up, got some air, blew some air down in it, and the piston was functioning fine and retracting, but when it would retract, it would stop, which like it's supposed to. So I thought, okay, now that I've got the piston working, maybe I can now compress it, and it would not compress. So anyway, we ended up getting a new caliper, so now they're all put back together and not functioning, but it's going to function because I tested this one, and it's all on as well and ready to go. So I had mentioned in the last clip blowing out the brake lines. I think I just want to go ahead and get all the brakes on this thing, and then we'll focus on the line portion of the brake system. So we'll go ahead and get the front brakes all tossed on and repack the bearings, all that fun stuff, install the new seals. And then once all that stuff's done, the only line that I broke was this little guy right here, if you remember that from a handful of videos back. Real small line from the master cylinder to proportioning valve. So I'll have to remake that one. No big deal. But once these brakes are done, I'll probably pull that main line off to the rear, blow it out, make sure there's no crud in it, blow the small ones out at the back, blow the crossover out at the front, put the new soft lines on, and then master cylinder and hang a new pedal cluster, because obviously we're going 4-speed. So yeah, that ought to make it to where we'll have a functioning brake system, and we can move on to the next, which will probably be blowing out fuel lines, putting the new tank in it, so that way we're prepped and ready for doing the engine and transmission. So enough blabbering. Probably going to start here on the passenger side, because I got the Beetle moved out, so I got plenty of room. I got both sides of stuff over here, so I'm probably going to, before I start filming, divvy this stuff up for side to side. And I know what a lot of you guys are thinking, oh man, why don't you, do ball joints and tie rod ends and all that stuff? Well, it's at that point, where do you stop? Then, do all your bushings and take the A-arms off and paint them. And then it's just this isn't a restoration. This is the car I want to just get out and daily drive. Obviously not in like the salt and snow and stuff, but this thing's just going to be a daily driver. And if a ball joint fails on me, we'll whip it in the garage and fix it. Tie rod end fails, we'll fix it. It does need stabilizer end links. Those things are gone. But other than that, we're gonna leave the sucker the way it is. The wheel bearings were good. There was no movement in any of the steering or suspension. So we'll drive her the way she is and then enjoy it and fix the thing as we go. So enough blabbering. I'm gonna get this stuff divvied up between sides and we'll be ready to start coating up the spindles and packing these bearings, getting these brakes together. Okay, got everything laid out. Got my rotor, caliper, a little bit of hardware there, new seal, and we got our cleaned up bearings. And we're ready to start assembling this stuff. So I'll set you guys up with a little typical time lapse. But yeah, I prefer packing these guys by hand. Always have. Don't know why. I've used the pneumatic packers and they do really well, but I always end up going back over them by hand anyway. So figured throw a set of gloves on, pack these boys up and call it done. So do one more little clean down on those guys and start packing away, coat the spindle up, throw the rear bearing in and seat the seal, and we should be good to go. All right, as you can see, it's all in time lapse, finished stuff up. I don't think I caught the caliper getting put on, but soft lines in with the retaining clip. Now, obviously the hard line I have not hooked up yet because, well, I know it looks like it is, but it's not. I want to be able to blow these old lines out because I know there's still some old fluid in them. So probably have to have a second set of hands do that because I don't want to be blowing brake fluid and brake clean everywhere. So anyway, yeah, everything went together great. So I'm stoked. Everything feels good. Obviously got all that stuff packed, got the caliper on there, so we're good to go. And I'm surprised that front calipers did not come with a new banjo bolt. Luckily, I hadn't got rid of my old stuff yet, cleaned up the original bolts and threw them in and seemed to be working just fine. Cleaned them out with brake clean and all that. So as you can see, as you can see, got the light over there. And we are ready to take a lot of this junk and make our way over there and do the same thing on that side. So we'll go over there and get it knocked out. Okay, fought this soft line right here going into that, getting that retainer clip in. I don't know why, and the dust cap. I think I got a little too much grease in there, which I'd rather have too much than too little, but scraped a little bit out around the edge and it popped right in and seated. So got our fresh soft line in and it's good to go. It's tightened down with the copper washers. And this hard line up here is still loose, so we can clean those out, even though they look pretty clean anyway. So yeah, this side's all knocked out. So we got all four corners done, and we will be ready for doing brake line stuff. So I'm pretty stoked. So we'll move on up here. I do want to, before I open this thing, I wanted to compare this master cylinder to my old one. And then obviously we got to break one line loose up here to blow them out. And then I should be good to go as far as putting the rest of the brakes together. So not too bad. Made some good progress today. And I think that's all I'm gonna be able to get done today. Got to clean up a mess over here. But now we got all four corners knocked out, which is huge. And now that's knocked out, get the master cylinder on it, get the lines ready, and we'll be good to go. So we'll check back in when we get going on all the lines and the master cylinder and stuff. Okay, just kidding. Thought I was gonna be done for the day, but got some more time. So we're gonna go ahead and get the master cylinder mounted and check on some of these lines here. first before I mount that thing. I brought the old master cylinder over just to be sure it's about the same as this one, and they look like they're the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and tweak on some of these lines, and we'll pick back up when I am actually going to mount the master cylinder itself. So I'm gonna tackle some of this, get some of this old wiring out of my way, and we'll go from there. All right, as you guys can see me fighting with that rear line, but it was loose. So what we're gonna do is, I think instead of having two people, and oh yeah, I got this one loose too, the broken one, so that way I can remake a line and get that thing all fixed up. What I'm gonna do is, I think, go to the back of the car and just tie a rag around that line with like a zip tie or whatever, and then kind of come through up here and just blow it out and see what kind of crap comes out. Because the rest of the car, the fluid has looked pretty good. I mean, it's a little brown, but for old brake fluid that's probably been in this car forever, it was a little more on the clear side. So surprisingly enough. So I think I'm gonna go back there, crawl into the car, wrap that around, blow through it, and we'll check back in and see what the heck I can get. And if it's clean, I'll go ahead and hook that line back up, and we'll be ready to mount the master cylinder, and then that'll tell me where my master cylinder is going to sit, so that way I can remake that line that broke. Okay, as you saw in the clip I just inserted, we blew clean fluid out, air went right through, no problem. So while the master cylinder's off, I'll hook that line back up because it's a little bit of a bear to get to, especially with the master cylinder in your way. And then, like I said, we'll be able to mount the master cylinder itself, and that way I'll be able to grab some, I think we got some extra line at the shop, just some scrap stuff that I can grab, and then cut this stuff, reuse the fittings, and should be good to go. But yeah, let's go ahead and I'll tighten this line back up, and we'll check back in bolting this master up. All right, we got that line all tightened back up, and I went to put the master cylinder on and realized I gotta paint this thing. I'm gonna get the cast iron paint so it looks just like that. Totally spaced it. I just know it's gonna rust like hell if I don't paint it. So gonna stop, eat me some lunch, go run and grab some paint for this bad boy, spray it, and hopefully get that thing reinstalled. And then that'll probably kind of square me away for the day. Okay, back from the store, and want to go ahead and show you guys. If you don't use any of this stuff's the best. I always go with Duplicolor and or VHT. I don't know if VHT makes it anymore, but there's your number and name. And that stuff is awesome. We'll go show you what it does. So we got the master cylinder all painted now. Got it hanging in here. I went outside and sprayed it. And as you can tell, it's like that same kind of metallic silver that it was out of the package. So now the thing won't rust. It looks correct, looks factory. It didn't lay down as, usually when it dries, it tends to look a little bit better, but I'm always pleased with this stuff once it flashes off and dries, but very happy. Just literally sprayed another coat, so once it flashes off, we'll be ready to let this thing dry and get it put on the car. So hopefully, usually that stuff dries relatively quickly, so I should be able to handle that thing here before too long and get that thing installed, and then move forward with hooking all our lines up. All right, this thing's cured well enough. So that being said, go ahead and slip her in here. Oh.
in like Flynn. Now we'll slip our proportioning valve bracket over the top. There's that. There we go. Rock on. Now, see if we can get these bad boys started. Sweet. I would use my regular wrench, but I think we'll just get a ratcheting wrench, make life easy on that one. Let me go grab that. All right, that'll make life easier. These flex head ratcheting wrenches are very nice. Love these things. Oh, wait a minute. Idiot, grab the wrong size. All right, let's try this and see what we get. As I suspected, it's metric. Yep. That's why I bring both. I don't have to keep walking back and forth as if 2 times wasn't enough already. All right. Snug this other one up. That way she's seating even. All right. Feels pretty good. Okay, that feels good. Let's see what we do. One more snug on this. Yep, feels good to me. Another beautiful thing about these original, or just having a patinaed car, you can work over the fenders without a fender cover. Okay, guys, let's trying to sneak in there already. Let's get this rubber out of the way. Yep. Okay. Let's see if this thing will get started for us. If it did, that'd be pretty sweet. Can't tell if it's wanting to go crooked or not. No, it looks all right. All right, now we'll leave this line so I can kind of, well, I'll probably take it off when I go to do it, but now I'll know exactly where this thing needs to go, the line that twisted off. So go ahead and finish tightening this up real quick, and we'll put the cap and stuff back on, and then we'll check back in. All right, got our top put back on. I didn't want to latch that yet because obviously we'll be putting fluid in it, and I loosened this back up because I forgot I need to put the bench bleeders in it, so that way when I get the new pedal cluster in, we can just bench bleed it on the car. So, but I will go ahead and get this line made first as well, that way it's done. And then probably won't be this video, but the upcoming video we'll be able to bleed brakes once that new brake and clutch pedal assembly's in. And then obviously we can move forward from there, because then that will totally tie up, or, you know, get the brake system completely done. So pretty stoked on that. I think I'm gonna go through, blow the lines out on the rear and look at hooking all those up. So not sure what I'll film back there, but we'll check back in after that. And then that'll probably end up doing it for this video, I think, depending on how much footage I got. And then hopefully in the next video, we'll be potentially bleeding the brakes. If not, be moving on to getting the engine all prepped and ready for doing the maintenance items, cleaning it up for paint, and getting it all ready to go in the car. So anyway, let's get on these back brakes.
Okay, we went ahead, jumped under the car. I don't have a hold down bolt for the rear distribution block for the flex line. If you guys remember in the last video, I believe it's the one that had broke and we had to drill it out. So I haven't got that picked up yet and go down to the hardware store. And I know they're supposed to have like a nice little shoulder on there. So I'm gonna find one as close as I possibly can. It's just a hold down. So up under here, I'll show you guys where I got. Something a little wild is where this soft line meets up into your bracket here. There's a specific orientation of how these little tabs go in there. Well, this new line is actually stamped 180 out from how it's supposed to go in there, so you can't particularly use the hold down clip anymore. But got that in and tightened up. And then as for the top goes, went ahead and got the line started. Now, obviously, let me get positioned here. This thing sits flat down like that right there and bolts up. But obviously, like I said, don't have the hold down bolt yet. So we will get that and be ready to square all this stuff away. So now we're gonna jump out on the ends and try to hook these up to the calipers, and then that'll probably call this video done. Okay, went ahead and showed you guys where we were at on the rear, hooked up all the banjo bolts to the calipers and all the lines, both front and back, and obviously cleaned them out. Everything looked good. You know, the fluid, like I said, was pretty decent. So yeah, we went ahead and pretty much got the brake system tied up, minus making that line and getting the stuff bled out. So I'm pretty stoked. And being that I'm coming up on my deadline on getting a video out, trying to get a video out once a week, it's pretty difficult, especially trying to get, you know, as much as I can in every video and not just doing a couple things and making a boring video, where I'm trying to get at least most of a system done per video. And so far, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Can't complain. That's pretty much the whole brake system. Like I said, I'll make that line and then they'll be ready to bleed out. So I'm gonna get cleaned up and that'll be it for today. Made a ton of progress. I'm very happy. So I don't know. Like I said, next video you might see some engine stuff, might see some brake bleeding, maybe both. I don't know yet. I'm hoping maybe leaning towards the engine just because I think that'd be a nice change of pace. So with that being said, we're going to end the video off here. If you guys would like to see the engine stuff next, you know, doing like the timing chain, gears and water pump, cleaning the engine up, painting it, and doing all that cool stuff, let me know in the comments. I'd like to know. I think that's the route I'm going to go. But anyway, yeah. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you guys in the next video.